Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I cannot be with you in person at this year's Global Baku Forum, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to share some thoughts as part of this panel on the Pact for the Future. The Pact for the Future and its annexes, the Global Digital Compact and the Declaration on Future Generations, adopted by consensus last September at the Summit of the Future, is a strong statement of commitment to the United Nations and to multilateralism, and to tackle the world's pressing challenges together. The Pact is the most wide-ranging international agreement in many years and a tool to accelerate the achievement of existing commitments, notably the Sustainable Development Goals, while also addressing key emerging areas like artificial intelligence and new threats to peace and security. Agreeing on the Pact was in itself a major achievement in the current geopolitical context, but real success will only come when we turn it into action, and we need to move swiftly forward through the doors of opportunity that the Pact opened at all levels. At the global level, the Pact is aimed at strengthening governance for the 21st century, to ensure that international institutions can deliver in the face of a world that has changed dramatically since they were created. It contains the most progressive language on Security Council reform since 1963, acknowledging the historical injustice towards Africa and setting out principles to make the Council more representative of today's geopolitical realities rather than the world of 80 years ago. And it includes a commitment to reform the global financial architecture, to better and more fairly represent the needs of developing countries. And it has annexed a global digital compact that would make extraordinary technological advances work for all of humanity, including through AI governance spaces which bring developing countries to the table for the very first time. And it contains the first global commitment to take account of future generations in policy making and in decisions. It is in the Secretary-General's hope that Member States will build on the momentum created by the Pact to leverage key intergovernmental processes and upcoming events to implement it to its fullest potential. The fourth conference on financing for development that will take place in Spain in June of this year offers an opportunity to advance on the reform of the international financial architecture, and November's second World Social Summit in Qatar offers other key opportunities. At the regional level, the Pact promotes enhanced cooperation between the United Nations and regional organizations to foster international peace and security, promote and protect human rights, and to achieve sustainable development. And the support of regional organizations such as the African Union, the European Union, ASEAN, and many others is crucial for the implementation of the Pact. As for cooperation and collaboration, they have a fundamental role as the connecting tissue between global agenda and country-level priorities. And finally, at the national level, the Pact has different entry points which touch on the priorities of every one of the United Nations' 193 member states, from poverty eradication to nationally owned conflict prevention and peace-building efforts, to closing digital divides, to meaningful youth engagement in decision-making processes, to name just a few. So I want to invite you to examine the commitments in the Pact, identify those that speak most to your national or mandated realities, and to build partnerships to ensure that they translate into real progress for the people that we all serve. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, implementing the Pact will also require the engagement of a broad range of stakeholders, from civil society, the private sector, local governments, national parliaments, academia, and others. And they are essential actors as well in maintaining the momentum that was generated by the Pact and in keeping member states and the United Nations accountable. This is not the time to retreat to our corners nor to dilute our ambitions. Now, more than ever, the world needs multilateralism, but it needs a multilateralism that is more effective, that is more inclusive of all parts of society, that is more networked and leverages on the comparative advantage of each and every one of us. And of course, a multilateralism rooted firmly in the United Nations Charter and the international rule of law. The Secretary-General has called on all the United Nations entities to ensure that Pact implementation is swift, visible, a whole-of-system effort, and preserves the overall integrity of the Pact itself and its political impact. And the UN system is also supporting member states in their own implementation efforts. Change does not happen overnight, but the world is not standing still either. We cannot afford to wait for multiplying conflicts, escalating geopolitical tensions, deepening climate emergency, rapid technological change, and rising inequalities and mistrust. Global solidarity and international cooperation are now needed more than ever. We must work together to deliver on the promises made in the Pact so that its implementation contributes to trust building in our fragmented world. Thank you and good luck.